Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request, this time for Peter. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. PayPal is usually the best bet. And Peter wanted me to do a commentary on the 1980 film Friday the 13th. So, between the two cuts, I'm going to choose the uncut version, because I'm assuming if a lot of people are watching this film, they probably have something like this. If that's the case, they would choose the uncut version. It's an hour, 33 minutes, and 35 minutes, 26 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we have the Paramount logo. Now, Friday the 13th. It is a film I do like, but I never loved. I do quite like the Friday the 13th franchise, although I would say that's a franchise I found a bit later in life. When I think of the big horror franchises, the one I grew up with was A Nightmare on Elm Street. First 6 movies, well, not so much 5, but especially the first 4 I would watch a lot when I was a kid. And one of my first experiences with Friday the 13th, my very first one, was seeing Jason Goes to Hell on VHS, which was the uncut version, the unrated version. I love that film. I still do. I think it's a very fun, gory movie. And then I saw the Dusk to Dawn Friday the 13th marathon. Monster Vision TNT with Joe Bob Briggs, where he showed 1, 2, 3, then 5 and 6. And then I saw some of these movies on VHS. Now, most of the Friday the 13th I can watch to a certain extent, except Part 8. I think Part 8 is the weakest. I think Part 8 is the worst. This one, I don't mind. I liked it okay. The second one I thought was a bit better. I love Amy Steele in that. The third one is fun. The 3D gimmick, doesn't hold up the best when you're not seeing the proper format. I'm not big on the lead in Friday the 13th Part 3. On the flip side, Jason, the hockey mask, the performance by the actor who played Jason, who sadly passed away from Part 3. That at least gave us some nice merits, so it's still an entertaining movie. Part 4 is a pretty solid one. Crispin Glover and his buddy Lawrence Monahan, I believe, from The Last American Virgin. They're a nice little team. Corey Feldman, before he went all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs later in life. I do like Part 4. Great Tom Savini gore. Just like this has some good gore. Part 5, I like it. I don't love it like other people do, but it's quirky enough to be entertaining. I can enjoy that film. Part 6 is one of my favorites. Part 7 is one of my favorites, especially since I technically have an uncut version. It's a bootleg. It looks like work print, but with Friday the 13th, I'm fine if it's that HD. It'd be cool to see, but I just still watch Part 7 The New Blood and the work print version, and that's what I watch. So seeing the uncut stuff with the telekinetic action, my favorite looking Jason and Kane Hodder, I quite enjoy that one. Part 8 is to me the weakest. Jason Goes to Hell I still love. Jason X I think is fun. I like the reboot from 2009. Freddy vs. Jason, I can be entertained by it, but there's a lot of stuff that annoys me. I hate the way Jason looks in it. I get that he's supposed to be afraid of drowning, but the way that played out really was... I didn't care for the way that strip was played out in that fashion, the way it was directed. I do not like the human characters in that, the lead characters, at all. I think it's one of the weakest casts in both franchises. But most of them I either love, like, or to watch, including this one. And then the one that's the weakest is Part 8, to me. And because it's like hamburger. Most of the time you don't enjoy hamburger. It's kind of hard to fuck up a hamburger if you love hamburgers or cheeseburgers. Like cheese, it's kind of hard to fuck up a cheeseburger. One of those things. It can happen, but if you enjoy it, you enjoy it in most places, it seems. Same with like French fries. Maybe this is a better analogy. French fries. It's hard to fuck up a. Well, it's not hard, but anyway, fuck it. So here you have the POV establishment, which was not the first film to do it. There were films that did it before. Black Christmas, where Bob Clark had done this before. Halloween, of course, 1978, which came out after Black Christmas. They had the POV of the killer. And then, from what I understand, as we don't see these people get killed, number one, we don't have the great Harry Manfredini soundtrack, which is a huge plus for this movie. I think what really helped make this film the way it is are three things. Having the backup of a major studio called Paramount to release it nationwide in theaters and give it a nice publicity campaign with a good trailer. 1, 2, 3, like counting the body count. Nicely done trailer. Pretty cool poster that definitely entices the viewer, this type of poster. So good marketing studio behind it. The Harry Manfredini store, which is wonderful and used in many of the sequels. And Tom Savini's gore, which Tom Savini at this point, he had done Dawn of the Dead for George Romero. And in 1980 there was Maniac. He did effects for that movie. Later you have The Burning. He was a lot of places around this time period. I mean, I think one of the reasons, and then, yeah, The Burning, this movie, Maniac, and then he did The Prowler, and one of the reasons he did The Prowler was because he was offered Friday the 13th Part 2, and Tom Savini went, wait, you don't have Jason back? Who's the little kid? He's grown up? That's stupid. I'm going to do The Prowler. Then, funny enough, he came back to do Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. He worked on Creepshow, another set with George Romero. He worked on some action films with Joseph Zito, little bits in Invasion USA and Red Scorpion, which there was a whole lot to do, but there's little bits here and there. Red Scorpion, the guy who gets his arm blown off, that was Tom Savini and his crew. And here they're trying to establish that you think this will be the lead character, but they're trying to swerve you that, you know, you spend a little bit of time with this person and they get killed off. Now, for I understand, Victor Miller, his job was pretty much to watch Halloween, among other stuff, and rip it off. That's kind of what he did, in a way. Not word for word and bite for bite, of course. And of course, the Victor Miller Sean S. Cunningham lawsuit became very prevalent in, it's been quite a few years now. And people say it's over, then people say it's not over, and then it is, but it isn't, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where the lawsuit is nowadays. But that's why you have not had much Friday the 13th content in recent years. Because I'm about, Victor Miller wrote the script, so you just say that Victor Miller owns Friday the 13th name, but he doesn't own the Hockey Mask Jason, because that wasn't in the first film. That was up until the third one. So you could make a Friday the 13th film, but it can't have Jason in it. And the last film was in 2009. I mean, that's been 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Almost 15 years, because we're almost in 2024, so getting close to 15 years since a Friday the 13th film. I know there are people crying out for one. That's why you have this plethora of fan films coming out. You had the ones that had Tom Matthews in it, Never Hike Alone, those ones. You had Friday the 13th Vengeance and Friday the 13th, the one with Laura Parr Lincoln from Part 7, The New Blood. She was in one. A lot of fan films. Just because people are hungry for it. Hungry for new material. Now, granted, to me, it's like, I mean, if I never see another Friday the 13th film, I'm not going to cry and cry myself to sleep, because I'm sitting there going, we had a lot of them. Granted, of the franchises, it seems like the franchise that'd be the least likely you could fuck up because you put someone in a hockey mask, you put them in there, you get some good kills. Kind of like the kills you would see in that new film Thanksgiving, some fun kills. Maybe have some decent characters. Because I think some actors and characters in this franchise are decent. They're not going to win Oscars, but they're decent. And then, what was I going to say? Have a fun movie. You know, have a fun movie, decent acting characters. Maybe put in a new gimmick location in the snow or wherever else. And I know it would make a lot of money. It would make a lot of money because people were curious about, hey, what's Jason going to do this time? What creative kills can we get? What gore can we get? What are they going to do with possible new location? Now, of course, we went past Crazy Ralph, that actor who sadly passed away. They kill his character in part 2, which I wonder if they knew the franchise was going to last this long, if they would not have killed that character off so quickly. I know the actor came back to do the voiceover. I want to say it was part 7, The New Blood. The voiceover in the beginning that gives like a recap to what's happened up until then. I think it's the same actor. It was Walt Gorney, I believe was his name. But I'm bad with names. I might have gotten his name wrong. But yeah, this was done on a low budget. Paramount took a chance on it and made them a lot of money. I mean, this was the time when films like The Shining was coming out. And this was outgrossing The Shining. You know, the new Stanley Kubrick film, director of 2001: Space Odyssey and A Clockwork Orange. You got Jack Nicholson from Chinatown and all these movies. And this little low-budget film is outgrossing it. Because it was an event movie. People talked about, did you see that movie? You see those crazy kills? And wow. It's like the new magic trick. It was like a gory magic show. Oh, look at these tricks. And they had done some of this stuff in films in Italian movies. I forget what that film was called. I think Mario Bava did it. That some of the kills were actually kind of ripped off and put into Friday the 13th Part 2. But in the U.S., a lot of people, you know, they had seen gore in movies, Dawn of the Dead, for example, but they didn't see stuff like this. And, you know, Halloween was a slasher. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface killed people, but in both of those films, you didn't really see much gore. So it was like, hey, let's make the gore the star of the movie, and it was successful. And then when people saw how successful this film was, rip it off. Every studio wanted their Friday the 13th. Wait, we can make a film for $1 million, and then we get like 10 million or 7 million or 15 million. That seems like an easy paycheck for studios. Because, well, we make these movies and maybe they'll be a hit and maybe they'll be a flop. But if you make these for such a low amount of money, it seems almost a sure thing that they would become hits. So then let's have Prom Night. Let's have Terror Train. Let's have a Final Exam. Let's have... You had the Burning. You had The Prowler. You had My Bloody Valentine. Also from Paramount. Tons of stuff. And then ultimately you had a Nightmare on Elm Street. Which, funny enough, I think Wes Craven went to... Paramount, and Paramount said no. And ultimately got to Bob Shea, New Line Cinema. And then that history was made. And of course, there is a Wes Craven connection because Wes and this director, Sean S. Cunningham, had worked together on the original Last House on the Left. I think did Sean S. Cunningham work on Hills of Eyes as well? I don't know. I know he worked on Last House on the Left with Wes Craven. And in fact, if you have like the old DVD, I don't know if they put it to the Blu-ray, but on the older DVD, there's a commentary with Wes and Sean S. Cunningham on the same track. Now, Sean S. Cunningham, to be perfectly honest, I don't respect the guy because I just don't think he's that caliber of a director. See, I think this film is, at best, adequately directed. There's no vision like John Carpenter. There's no, okay, he's a writer and he's putting some social commentary like George Romero would do in Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was just a whole new animal at that time. Just the way it looks and the documentary style. To me, anybody could have directed this film. I really do feel that way. And you look at his history, he's not really known as a great director. I mean, there was that one he did with Kate Mulgrew at Rip Torn. And I know I reviewed it, but I forgot the name of it. But it was, at one point, Rip Torn kidnaps Kate Mulgrew, I think her kid, and he's going through like this train station, but no one notices that he's got this big human-sized bag. Deep Star 6, I can have fun with, but it's not a classic by any means. It's not Leviathan, it's not The Abyss, it's not Deep Rise. Deep Star 6 I can have some fun with, but I'm a sucker for those creature feature movies in that era with those practical effects, and I like some of the cast like Miguel Ferrer, may he rest in peace. But Sean Astin was never that great of a director. And I know people don't like Adam Marcus, who directed Jason Goes to Hell, for various reasons, including the way he directed that film. Direction-wise, I think Jason Goes to Hell is a much better directed film than this, in terms of the editing, the way the camera is moved, like when the lead guy sees the Voorhees house and the way the camera kind of has behind the actor and revealing the house, or when they're in the diner fighting over the gun and it shoots and you see the camera push in towards the fuse box. Like little camera details like that. Use a bit of slow-mo, like when John D. LeMay is shooting the guy in the police station. I do think there's more in terms of direction compared to this. But I know Sean Astin had talked shit about Adam Marcus. And in a very interesting interview with Pizzow, nice guy here on YouTube, he mentioned Adam Marcus that Sean Astin had said on that film, well, Adam Marcus wanted to get rid of the hockey mask. It's his fault. Blame him. I had nothing to do with it. Mea culpa, mea culpa. Adam Marcus, he said, no, this guy told me, whatever you do, just get that damn hockey mask out of there. And then he created this like different type of mythology. Now, he had a good point. This is what Adam Marcus said. Think about this. Either me, some rookie guy that was like barely 20 years old, if that, is going to come in and say, I want to get rid of your hockey mask from Jason Voorhees, and this franchise has been bought by a new studio, and this is the premiere movie with this new studio, and you're the guy who's like the big money man, own the rights, and I somehow just walked over you and said, yep, take the hockey mask away, and somehow had all this power, some way, some shape, some form, or the guy who is the name, Sean Astin, literally, the on the cover, the creator of the first brings you the last. At the time, that was like part of the marketing. Or maybe it was his decision. And when you look at it logically, it seems like it would be Sean Astin's decision. And Adam Marcus had an interesting thing, and it goes back to this film. Sean Astin, and I believe Adam Marcus in this, I think deep down, he resents the fact that this was his legacy. He loves the money. Because when you see him in interviews and he's this big fancy place, it's not from Deep Star 6. Okay, it's not from that movie that he did with Kate Mulgrew and Rip Torn. It's from all the money and millions of dollars he got from Friday the 13th. Residuals, all that stuff. selling it where it can be merchandise. He is a piece of the pie, which is what Victor Miller was. The whole fight was about, and that's why I wanted this whole Lido kerfluffle for the past however many years. But yeah, the how I put it, when this movie was being done, this was kind of a whatever picture for Sean S. Cunningham. It was horror films. They made some money. I worked with Wes, Last House on the Left. They got some notoriety, and then Wes, he would get a few jobs here and there. If I do a low budget film like this, I get my name out there, and then maybe I could go do other stuff, and it to show, okay, you could do a picture. It's on budget. It's on schedule. It's released. It's 90 minutes. It got in theaters from a studio. Okay, this guy can direct whether you like or dislike the film. He was able to complete a picture. He was more interested in these family films, like this soccer movie with kids and all this other stuff. That's what he was more gung-ho. Those type of movies. Family films, kids films. And he thought that'd be his bread and butter. Then this film made a huge amount of money that no one expected that much. Let's do a sequel. Sean S. Cunningham did not want to do a sequel. But then he's like, well, you don't pay a lot of money. Well, I'm not going to direct it. I'm going to get Steve Miner. He's going to direct part 2. He's going to direct part 3. And also, what's become Friday the 13th? Jason and the Hockey Mask, which Sean S. Cunningham had nothing to do with. So think about it. Sean S. Cunningham, his picture is going to be with Jason Voorhees with a hockey mask, and that's something Sean S. Cunningham never created. He didn't come with the hockey mask. He didn't come up with the adult Jason doing all this stuff. He said an adult Jason was a stupid idea, but he's like, hey, if I get paid, fine, do whatever you want. I think it's a stupid idea, but hey, it's a sequel. I'm going to get paid. I'm going to do, again, that film with Kate Mulgrew. If someone's watching, or I forget what the hell the title was. Someone to watch over me, or I forget what it was called. But anyway, then it became more and more a hit. So now, think about that. You're always labeled with this thing you never created. The money's good, but creativity-wise, that was something that you never had a passion for. You never wanted to do. And a lot of it you did not create. Became its own animal through sequels. One of the few franchises to do that, if you think about it. Usually you create the killer from the first get-go. Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street. His defiant look becomes a part 3. How many movies, franchises have done that? You ever get the throat slit? I mean, you saw a little bit of a knife in the gut at the beginning, but that's really the first major gore scene we have in the movie. Nice work by Tom Savini. And that's why I think Sean S. Cunningham's full of shit. I think he's a guy that will have this fake persona, but out and behind the scenes, he doesn't give a shit about this franchise. He doesn't give a shit about this. He cares about the money. And hey, that's fine. If at least be honest. Well, he can't be honest because he'd be looked at as an asshole. But it's like, listen, I don't care about this. I care about the money. So. But go figure. So again, I don't respect Sean S. Cunningham. To me, hell, I respect Toby Hooper more. Because at least he did also Life Force. And he did, I think The Megler is a fun, crazy, batshit underrated film. And he did, there's arguments of whether he did Poltergeist or not, but I think he had something to do with it. And even, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is, I think, a pretty damn good sequel. That's more than Sean S. Cunningham has done. And again, when I look at this film, I think this film is okay, maybe 3 out of 5 star, okay average movie. As a slasher film, as a horror film, it's okay. I think even that era, I would definitely. God, that guy, you saw his dick ready to pop out of his fucking Speedos. I think it was Kevin Bacon's dick, great. We just saw a big bulge of Kevin Bacon's dick ready to pop out of his Speedo. His little trimmer, right there. His big old little trimmer. Making ladies flatline. And saying, all I need is a few good men. But, like I said, when you watch the film, it's very typical, establish a lot of stuff that would be used in a lot of movies afterward. I have to give respect to that. You have the prankster, you have the crazy old man who is warning people of the death curse, summer camp, all that stuff. That became prototypical of the genre. I can appreciate that. I liked Adrian Keene as the lead. The other actors are fine, like Kevin Bacon. I love Kevin Bacon. I don't go to this for Kevin Bacon. I go to for Tremors or some other movies, Stir of Echoes, among others. But like the acting is fine, the characters are fine. And Adrian Keene seems like a sweet lady. But again, when you look at, I never thought this film was scary. Never thought this film was horrifying or suspenseful, at least for me. Again, I think these films are just more fun than anything. This is a bit strange. I never really understood why this scene was in the movie with the snake. And it's also sad because they do kill a real life snake. Which I thought was really shitty. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like snakes. If snakes on the property, yeah, kill it, because you don't want to go out there and it bite you and attack you or anything when you're just walking to your vehicle or whatever. I understand in real life, especially you live in the middle of nowhere, out in the country, I get that. In real life, I probably would do what they do and kill it. In real life, though. But this is a fucking movie. If this is a fucking movie, don't kill a fucking snake for a movie. I don't like snakes, but it's a fucking movie. You brought it there. It's your fucking fault. So, you know, the snake died for nothing. So that's one of the things that just like, come on, dude. And also, it's Tom Savini. He's an effects guy. You could not have made a fake snake, or just have him do this and not like just have him do this, and we don't see it, or just not have the scene at all. I just other than maybe think, well, maybe that guy's a killer because he killed a snake. Well, I mean, that doesn't really say anything, but whatever. And like I said, I don't hate the film. I just think it is a bit overrated. I do think it's a bit overrated. Because I like Friday, but I don't consider it on par with a Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre and that classic. Historical wise, yes. But as a viewing experience, like I said, it's fine, it's average, it's okay. But I think there's a lot of slasher films that did a much better job in different ways. My Bloody Valentine, with the backstory and the look of the killer, as well as you have the gore, especially the uncut version, in the theme song, and the characters have a little bit more going for them, like the love story triangle, the love triangle of that love story, the whole setting of the mines bring a lot of atmosphere to it. I think My Bloody Valentine's better than this. April Fool's Day from 1986. There's no gore because of the story that's pertaining, but I think the characters and the dialogue are much more witty and on par. I think the cast Here is fine, but in that film, I think is much better. Amy Steele, Clayton Rohner, uh, Biff from Back to the Future, Thomas F. Wilson, Ken Olant, among others. I think they're much more satisfying unit as a cast. Deborah Foreman really made me like that cast, like those characters. To me, the cast is okay, but if they die, I'm like, okay. I feel indifferent. In a weird way, kind of like what I felt in the new Friday the 13th film, Thanksgiving film. Although Adrian Keene I do like more than the girl in the new Thanksgiving. I'll give it that. Like, Adrian Keene is the exception. What about Kevin Bacon? Well, in other movies, like in this, he's not really given much to do, so it's not really fair for him. It's just not given much in terms of the characteristics. And I would say this actor does a good job playing this type of role. Now, you never find out what the deal is with Crazy Ralph, even in the second film. Like, you never quite find out really what his deal is. Other than God sent him. And then part two is kind of put in there just to be like, oh shit, we forgot. We never killed him. I think is this the okay, probably a red herring as well. He's there as a red herring, but this is a red herring. You don't think he's gonna be the killer? This is the last time we see Tracy Ralph. I think so. You're doomed. You're all doomed. Great line reading. I'll give you that. Again, wonderful music. Harry Manfredini's music definitely sells this film. But yeah, it's not the direction of the film. It's a lot of very static shots and once in a while a point of view shot. So again, I think the direction and the mystery holds this back quite a bit from being, in my opinion, a classic. Because I think Friday the Part 2, some of the cast, especially Amy Steele, there's a little bit more punch to it. I think the killer just was more interesting to me. Because it's trying to be this mystery, and of course now we know it's Mrs. Voorhees, which I'm going to jump to that. I don't fucking buy not one goddamn bit. I mean, I get it. Betsy Palmer is a good actress. I will give you that. She's given a nice performance. But even at that point, to me, it's just a bit too little too late. And as a mystery, to me, it's a shitty mystery because with a mystery, a well-written mystery, you should be able to maybe figure it out or have a possibility of solving it throughout the film. But there is zero way you could solve it because the person in question doesn't even appear until the last 15 minutes of the fucking film. So how can you solve the mystery of who the killer is if a suspect, a possibility, doesn't even show up till the last 15 minutes of the fucking movie? And then when she pops up, he goes, wow, this is a brand new character. We've never seen this person before. Everybody else is fucking dead. I wonder who the killer is. When she pops it, you go, wait a minute. Oh, she must be the killer. And then, I think even Betsy Palmer said that in an interview. She said, shouldn't I be like at the diner? Or shouldn't I be like driving somewhere? And I think it was Sean Cunningham that said, nope. Which shows how, fucking dumb Sean S. Cunningham is. To me, if it was like you would see Betsy Palmer from time to time, you see how sweet she is, how nice she is, and seems like someone you could trust, and maybe there's a bit where she's surprised, so you think she died. But later on, you realize she was surprised that someone walked in on her, and then she killed him. But like I said, you never get opportunity until the fucking last 10-15 minutes of the movie. Trying to think, is that the last time we see that guy? I think it is. The prankster. There's no black guys in this. There's no black guy does first thing in this. But that's what I mean. Like, if I look through the list of slasher films, I mean, I would say Halloween 1, 2, 4, H2O I'd watch over this. I would say Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, 3, 4 I'd watch over this. I would say, many of the Friday 13 sequels I like more than this. I mean, my ranking would be different from anybody else's. My favorite to least favorite would be Jason Goes to Hell, then Part 7 The New Blood, then Part 6. Then that's tough because I do like the 2009 reboot of it. I think that's a better movie than this. I'm sorry. Again, I like the film as is. Adrian Keane, sticking to 90 minutes, not overstating itself. Developing what would be the prototypical elements of slasher films afterward. Nice door by Tom Savini. Betsy Palmer's performance at the end. Harry Manfredini's music. There is stuff to like in it. But Friday 13, 2009, I thought that hit a bit harder in terms of trying to be more intense. The lead characters, Jared Padalecki, I do like. And I've only seen like one episode of Supernatural. So it's not like I'm a hardcore Supernatural fan. I've only seen like one episode. But I like that guy in it. Like the brother, sister, it was as the two leads. Well, I guess the last time we saw it was Friday the 13th Part 4. Corey Feldman and his sister. I'm trying to think. And he had like a husband and wife in or boyfriend, girlfriend, how you want to put in Part 9. But anyway. And Derek Mears' Jason was just much more fun to watch than Nobody until Betsy Palmer. Again, Betsy Palmer's a good actress, but it's a cheap shot. It seems just unfair for a mystery that there's no way you could solve it until the last 15 minutes. That just seems unfair for a mystery. So even rewatch it, it's not like, okay, I'm studying this person and they didn't give anything away. That was nice. And, oh, that little tidbit they put in there. Oh, that's right. And that little tidbit they put in there. And that's how they did this. No, you can't enjoy the mystery even after the fact because they give you nothing until the end. So until the third act is just, they kiss, they play Monopoly, they die, and you're just waiting for the next kill. Still better than shit like Final Exam or Terror on Tour or a lot of other really shitty ones. And Adrienne Keane seems like a nice girl. Sad that she got stalked in real life. She didn't deserve that. She seems like a very nice lady. She was in Part 2. Like I said, I like Part 2. I didn't like that she got killed off the way she did. But I guess because the rest of the movie I like a lot more than this, so. And maybe because I'm not a diehard fan of this movie. I mean, Aliens. I bitch about Alien 3 and killing off characters. Because Aliens is one of my favorite films of all time. That's a difference. Same with some other movies. Like, why I got so pissed. One of the main things I got pissed about John Wick 4. It's not the only one, but one of the things, many things, was, oh, and they kill them off too? Just John Wick 1, 2, and 3 are some of my favorite action films of the past 10 years. This one, like I said, I can name, if you give me a list, 50 slasher films I like more than this. But I'm going to repeat one last time. I do not think this is a bad movie. Now, I know that guy is related to Bing Crosby. Was it Harry Crosby? Yeah, Harry Crosby. Hey, Kevin Bacon has never really sat down and to be interviewed about Friday the 13th. I think he mentioned it once on a talk show. I don't remember if it was David Letterman or Conan O'Brien or something, but then is this the reveal you did where the dead body's on the upper part of the bunk? Which I know it's dark, but at the same time, is it that dark to not see the person above you in bed? It's not like it's that fucking high. I mean, it's high, but whatever. So first off, let me look up Jonas Cunningham's credits. Actually, I'm gonna pause that way I'm not, fucking around 85 for 2 minutes. Be right back. All right. So sorry, I'm back. Oh, by the way, the film I was talking about with Jonas Cunningham and Kate Mulgrew was A Stranger Is Watching. That's what it was called. And also, before that, Jonas Cunningham had done two sports movies. One was called Manny's Orphans, and one was called Here Come the Tigers. I think with this, he was hoping to get TV shows based on those movies. Just thinking like a soccer picture. But I think he had done the soccer picture. He wanted a TV show based on those movies, and was hoping that after this he would do that stuff. So, but yeah, more family fare. But then he got this, and he never. You tell he never wanted to be the horror guy. But I'm pause 40 minutes and 12 seconds in. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we saw Ned, who's dead. Ned the Dead. But yeah, if you think the other movies he did was Terminal Invasion with Bruce Campbell. I mean, made for TV movie. So that was smoking dope, playing Monopoly, and that's the way it is. Strip Monopoly. Which I still don't know how the fuck you play Strip Monopoly. I mean, the game is so damn long anyway. It'd be almost impossible for everyone to not lose all their clothes. You get a little bit of nudity, a little bit of nipple there. Which you don't see a whole lot of nudity in horror films and such. Probably because it'd be labeled misogynistic. Unless you decide to say fuck it and do it independently. But even then, there's some people that's like, I don't want to be labeled too misogynistic. It's like that film Thanksgiving. I remember in the original trailer back in the days, in the Grindhouse movie, when the lady's on the trampoline, she landed on the knife, and the knife went up her keister or vajayjay. So I guess Eli Roth's like, nah, it's gonna land on her foot and her hand. I'm like, okay. Well, we just want more fun kills. Yeah, but if it lands on there, you're like, it's just based on the person's acting, but I mean, fun kills. Are we saying that the wheelchair guy get a machete in the face, or hell, part 3 when Jason went right between the legs, where the guy ready to crack him like a wishbone? I mean, you say that it was fun, but I mean, probably not fun for the character who died. We get the most famous scene in the movie. And people say the best kill in the movie. He's going to notice some blood dripping down. Pretty much there's Kevin Bacon's face, a fake chest, and kind of like the rest of his body is kind of under, and then they put a fake body up top so it goes through. So his face is there, but the rest of his body is hidden. So you put a fake body, and then that way you just put the arrow there. And it's unrated because this goes on for a few seconds longer. Like, it stays still a bit longer. It's too bad a lot of the other Friday the 13th films have not gone uncut version. And it's crazy because Friday the 13th Part 2, they could have done that. I've seen people do it. And I've downloaded it, and I have those on the computer. Friday the 13th Part 2 uncut. Where the footage was there, and they just put the footage back in, you add a few pieces of music and sound effects, boom. It's seamless. But why they decide not to do it? Can't say it's rights, because if they released the movie and they released the footage, just put the footage in the movie and there you go. Here's the regular and here's the uncut version. Just like you have two with this. Don't understand it. But I mean, that's for a lot of movies. Like the footage for Part 7, The New Blood, the only way you can find that is the rough work print, because I guess the masters of that are gone, so there's no way to clean up the footage. But yeah, I just have it's a fan cut, which they made the entire movie look like a VHS. So they, like the regular parts of the movie looked like a VHS, then they put the actual VHS door in it, it looked like a VHS tape. And even with trailers for other movies that came out that year of 1988, like Die Hard or Bloodsport and Elm Street 4, so that's the cut I watch. But yeah, the surprise success of this film definitely brought a whole new line of I mean, there were slasher films before this, but it's the success of this from a major studio. Now every major studio wanted their Friday the 13th, the little movie that could. Man, this is a way to make some money, and that's the whole point of studios. It's a business. How you find a way to make money seems like the new thing. Hop on the train. And then in the next 4 or so years, there was such a gluttony. And yeah, I use that term. Fatten up the whole market with all these films, that there was a collapse, because not only were there so many, so it didn't feel special anymore. Up, it's another one. Same old, same old. Then the MPA was getting more mad. The stuff was getting through, so they're cutting more and more down. At least for some of them. Or some just on themselves decided to be cut down. And then it was worse acting, worse stories. And the bottom fell out. And you had slasher films throughout the rest of the decade. Some pretty decent, but not nearly as plentiful as the first 4 years of that boom. Here we get the next kill. Right, I don't know why she just stands there, screams with her eyes closed. See how she's just like, ah. I'm like, move. Especially when you realize that the person in front of you is Betsy Palmer. It's not this halting guy, or this grease-trapped truck driver, or anything of the sort. It's Betsy Palmer with the Cosby shirt on. And I mean, if she has an axe, yeah, I'd be freaked out, but I'm going to try to push you, punch you, kick you. I'm not just going to stand and go, I'm just going to wait here and die. And let this axe hit me in the head. Even though it's Betsy Palmer, you probably push her away, kick the shit out of her. It's not like she tried to see her, just a big old fucking light up there. That's the thing, I'm like, I'm supposed to buy that Betsy Palmer. And I know these are unrealistic, but I'm just saying, this is supposed to be like the most realistic of all the Friday 13 films. You know, it's supposed to be the most real of all of them. And that's, I think, some of the reason why people say this is the best or it's their favorite. The simplicity, or I don't know if they really use the term realism, but I was supposed to buy that Patsy Palmer took this guy here shirtless, lifted his ass up to stick him to a fucking door with a bunch of arrows. How the fuck did she do that? She take her vitamins, her Flintstone vitamins? And then I'm supposed to buy that she threw this other girl through the window like a duffel bag, like hot, wet trash. Did she take steroids? Is that why Jason got fucked up? Because she was taking steroids? Through copulation? Ovulation? Menstruation? Took a shitload of steroids? That's why Jason was a mongoloid? That's a technical term. I'm not making fun of it. Is that why he was all fucked up? Did she take his steroids like China from WWF? See, this guy should just stay at this diner for the rest of the night. He'd be alive. Because she would have gotten there, and then, you know, all he had to do was stay here. If he stayed here for the rest of the night, maybe go home with her. Have some fandango. Like this guy here, you're not thinking this guy's the killer because he's in this diner, he's so far away. So you're thinking, what, he killed a bunch of people, they went all the way to the diner and they don't go all the way back during the rain? So he's not a red herring. He's just another, maybe it's hopeful like he'll be there to rescue people because he's got the Jeep. You never see the cop again. You figure the cop would come by, maybe the cops would get killed. No. Instead, what are you doing out in this mess? And there's a so you don't see him get killed. You just get his reaction. Like someone kicked him in the. I'm like, did he die or did someone kick him in the nuts? Yeah, they kicked him in the nuts. While God's pissing on us with the rain. But like I said, again, I like the Friday the 13th films. They're comfort food. They're fast food. That was trying back then with the hamburger, french fries thing. It's comfort food. For the most part, for me, it's hard to fuck up a Friday the 13th film. Except Part 8, where it's in the city, but it's not in the city. It took a fucking boat ride. They took a cruise. And don't give me it's the budget, because Maniac Cop 1 and 2 had the same budget, or a lower budget, actually. They had a lower budget, and they were all in the fucking city. So, don't give me that shit as the budget. It's just a director who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Because he didn't really direct much of any movies. And only directed like a couple episodes of TV shows. Guy didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And yet, for the most part, a shitty cast. Jason with goober on him. It's like he's leaking snot everywhere he goes. He's a wannabe Toxic Avenger at the end. Toxic Waste goes through all the New York in the sewers at midnight every night, apparently. So I guess it's good that I don't live in New York. Because apparently every fucking night at midnight, Toxic Waste is everywhere. And then he becomes shit Clayface with a whiny kid's voice. Mommy, mommy. And he's puking up fucking... People talk shit about Jason Goes to Hell, and you look at that ending? Jason Goes to Hell, I see you lead guy kidding the shit out of Jason. Kicking a knife in him, he goes to hell in a grandiose fashion. Here, somehow Toxic Waste turns into a normal kid with a fucking set of hair. But somehow he got hair now. Which he never had hair before. Apparently, if you get Toxic Waste, you... Not only does it turn you into a kid, it fixes your face and makes you grow hair. I guess I need Toxic Waste for my fucking bald scalp. That's my problem. Like a chia pet. I need some Toxic Waste to make me grow some Fabio hair. I can't believe it's not butter. The police officer. I forgot he got a ride, and I think the cop drops him off. Which should have, I don't know why, I mean, should have drove him all the way into the camp. But, so that definitely tells you that it's not him as the killer. It's not the cop as the killer. That's the thing, you're sitting there going, well, who the fuck is the killer? Like, these three were in there. Everybody else is dead. So, if you're thinking this is a mystery, you think, well, who the fuck is the killer? So, I guess that's the thing. You're just not supposed to think of it as a mystery. You know, it kind of tries to think of it that way. But whatever. Now, the Blu-ray from Stream Factory, you get the new 4K stand. You have two cuts of the film, the uncut and theatrical cut. You have the audio commentary from director Sean S. Cunningham, screenwriter Victor Miller, author Peter Bracke, and more on the uncut version. New Tales from Friday the 13th, Man Behind the Legacy Sean S. Cunningham, trailer, TV spot, radio spots, and still gallery. So, but I mean, there's been so much about the making of the first film. Victor Miller looked at, total look at Halloween, rip off as much as he could. Sean S. Cunningham wanted to make a TV show on the soccer picture or the kids' sports movies he had done. We had a title. All we had was a title. We put in the trades. Paramount got it based on the title. It's a good title, Friday the 13th. Then I said, well, what's the story going to be? Boom, boom, boom. You have this. A little bit of the Crowley legend? Cropsey legend. A little bit of that. Of course, then you would see specifically for Cropsey and the burning. Which I think was that 81 actually, the burning? 80, 81. Maybe it was 81. Because I know Madman was going to be about Cropsey, but then they realized another film was doing it, so they had to change it. I think that helped delay it to get to 1982, I believe. I'm bad with names and bad with dates, probably got all that wrong. But I mean, hell, if you watch this film, you have the Blu-ray, or hell, 5 minutes, you can find stuff on YouTube about the making of the film. I'm sure there are interviews with all these people about the making of especially the first film, on YouTube. You find them in 5 minutes. I'm no expert on anything. This girl's just running around, ready to die. Yeah, this is the woman that's going to be thrown through the window like a hefty bag by Betsy Palmer. Which, I mean, the only reason she did this film was because I think her car broke down. She needed, like, what was that it? I think that was like she needed money for that, so she got paid enough for that, and then did I don't know how many, a day or two on here, and that was that. Then did that one bit where you see her face in Friday the 13th Part 2 at the end, where Amy Steele's pretending to be her, and then that was pretty much that. But that's the thing, as you're watching the film, like, it's okay. It's an alright movie. There's nothing visual-wise, direction-wise, story-wise that really makes it stand above other movies. Like Nightmare on Elm Street, you look at the story, the idea of Freddy Krueger and the dreams, and yeah, people like Heather Langenkamp has a little bit more to play with as a character, whether the frustrations of her dad, more so her mom was an alcoholic, find out that her parents dealt with this guy a lot ago, was keeping secrets. there's a little bit more meat to the characters, at least the lead character, and the personality of Freddy, of course. And Halloween with the Dean Cundy cinematography and the way the widescreen is used, the camera is used, the camera pans, the way that's directed, definitely brings more of a moody atmosphere. I can't really say there's any atmosphere to the. As I said, I think Sean S. Cunningham is a pretty shitty director, to be honest, or average, shitty or I don't know, mediocre. He's a mediocre director. He's a shitty to mediocre director. He's all the above. I can't call him a good director. Maybe again at best, maybe I'd call him average. Average. Maybe at best. But I say I never would put him up there with Wes Craven, Toby Hooper, George Romero, Larry Cohen, all that stuff. Well, thank God they put the axe to bed. Guess the axe was tired. Chris, I'm thinking you just gave your victims a weapon. Congrats, lady. Now I have a weapon. I have an axe. Just in case. Why is no one taking the axe? If I see an axe with blood in a bed, I'm taking it with me. Okay? It won't leave my side. They just left. The axe has fucking blood on it and they just left it there. I forgot about that. What the why? Here's an axe. There's blood on it. Oh, everything's fine and we can't find anyone? The axe. Maybe the axe is having, I don't know, menopause. It's that time of the month for the axe. Give it some alone time. Let it sleep it off. Maybe that's why the axe was in bed. It's that time of the month. Let it sleep it off. It'll bleed enough. Tomorrow we'll go into town, get an axe tampon. For fuck's sake. I forgot about that. Like, take the axe. Take the fucking axe. What are you doing? Shit, take the fucking axe. Also, it'd be nice to have a car, more than one car, in case. What if someone had an emergency? I guess they thought, okay, we're going to call and wait for help, but maybe there'd be a car to get into to drive for help. In case there's a storm. If there was a storm without a psycho, the storm could cut the power out, cut the phone lines or something. That's to show the phone lines are cut. Thank you for holding on that shot for a very long time, Sean. I mean, when they said the phone was dead, I could have gathered that the fucking phone line was cut. But it pans over to it, then it stays there for like another 10 fucking seconds. I did it, dude. Okay, they do have another truck. I stand corrected. They did have another truck. Ted Biles. Well, that's you ain't gonna be laughing at all, dude. Except at a morgue. I forgot that Crazy Row was married. Because he mentioned that his wife. That guy has a wife? That's a story. Crazy Ralph's wife. Okay, well that's why the cop did not drive him all the way up. Well, if you're that fucking close, you might as well just go all the way, dude. Like seriously. I mean, at the same time, you got enough cops there. I want to make sure he gets there safe and sound, but oh well. There's help going off in the distance. So even then, you're thinking he has no jeep. Is that really going to be much of a rescue? There's him coming out of the darkness with that yellow slicker. And he recognizes the person. Oh, hi. What are you doing out in this mess? There you go. Makes you wonder how the fuck she knew he was going to be there. Just the whole time, wasn't Betsy Palmer been watching this thing like a hawk to see where they go? But she just so happened to know that this guy was going to be right there by the fucking Crystal Light sign. She just knew. How the fuck did she know? How the fuck did she know? She just knew. My psychic bat signal, my crazy signal is telling me. My spidey senses are telling me. How? I don't know how. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. And, there's 30 minutes left of the movie? Holy shit. Didn't realize there was 30 minutes left. Well, I got 30 minutes. Say 5 minutes, give or take, for credits. The last battle chase is going to be like 5 minutes, plus the dream scene as well. We still gotta find Harry Crosby dead. And then Betsy Palmer. A little bit about her and her son. So. Nope, now she's all alone. She's all alone. Which, now that I think about it, when Adrian Tina has the nightmare scene, how did she know what a young Jason looks like? Because doesn't all Betsy Palmer say is that she had a son, and today is his birthday? But she doesn't describe or show pictures of what he looked like, right? So how the fuck does her dream she know what Jason looks like? And she had a dream, a nightmare, but then you're supposed to wonder if something about that had happened. Does he have the shot of the lake? So is it trying to tell the audience, could Jason's body, the kid, be out there? Or whatever the fuck? I don't know. Whatever the hell wherever the hell the thing is. It's supposed to be. So yeah, I think that's the last time we see him alive until she finds a dead body. But yeah, in quick succession, they made these movies. From 1980 to 1989, they made 8 movies in 10 years. Well, actually, 80, 81, 82. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, and they did not make one in 83, and they did not make one in 87. No, 87. Yeah, I think 83 and 87. Because I know part 2 is 81, part 2 was 80, part 3 was 82. Because that's where you had some other 3D movies in 82. Jaws 3D, for example. I think Amityville 3D. And then 84, you had part 4. And then that jumped to 85, part 5. And then to 86. Because they saw that 85 kind of floundered. Like, we gotta get Jason back. 86. Yeah, I know 88's The New Blood, because that's a pretty good year for horror sequels, 1988. At least for me. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, Phantasm 2, Critters 2, Friday 13th, The New Blood, Fright Night Part 2. Like, there's a lot of horror sequels that year I do enjoy. And 89 was Manhattan. Yeah, they're definitely trying to milk this out. Her just going about her business. Trying to make the audience wait to see what's going to happen next. But maybe that's the thing, though. I don't really go to Friday the 13th films for scares. I really only went to them for... not a lot of horror films scare me. I'm not saying that as to boast. It's just very few and far between scare me. Because real life, paying taxes is scarier. But it's just for fun. Oh, there it is. Oh, how the fuck did she lift him all the way up, keep him up there enough to put these fucking arrows in there? Like, he's off the ground. His feet's not touching the ground. Nice makeup effects, though. Human pediatrician. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, with the door, yeah. For a second, I'm like, you don't hang herself. Nah. Yeah, just that's one way to do it. Yeah, but her friend body goes through the window, so I ain't gonna help. And yeah, not just movies. There's video games. There's all sorts of stuff made from this IP. You had the Nintendo game. You had... Yeah, I know. You had that game that was a multiplayer. A lot of people were playing it. Apparently it was very glitchy when it started. But then it kind of got better as it went along. And then they pretty much had to stop because of legal lawsuits, they could not add anything more. It was like, stop, don't do anything more, you can't. And that's the reason that game died. Because they were going to add like Jason X. They were just going to keep adding stuff from what I understand, but I mean, maybe if they did, it could have still died by this point. I mean, like, how many people play that Evil Dead game that had the online multiplayer and Trailer Toys from Outer Space? I didn't really see anybody play that. I'm sure there were, but you didn't hear anybody. If that's even out yet. I don't even know if that's out yet. Thought it was. But now it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's not for me. On a side note, I much prefer a single player game. I don't care about multiplayer. I don't care about online shit. I just want the game. I just want to play it by myself. Solitary experience. Like Resident Evil 1 and 2 and 4. Lisa Ashak can hide in a dumpster because she is a fucking cum dumpster. This is where her friend goes through the window. Like a sack of potatoes. They just threw her in there. I'm like, that takes some fucking strength. It's not easy to do. I'm like, how the fuck did Betsy Palmer do that? Also, so she threw the window. She threw the person through the window. Then she left. Then she got a car, a Jeep. Then she drove up. Of course, we know that's not Steve. So then, that means this person killed Harry Crosby, threw that girl through the fucking window, ran all the way up there, got the Jeep, drove all the way back, and there she is, Betsy Palmer. I'm Miss Voorhees. Now, Betsy Palmer does a good job. I will say that. That's another. I will give credit to that. Again, the music, bit of Tom Savini Gore, Adrian Team, Betsy Palmer. Definitely strong points of the movie. Yeah, like, you know something's up because how the fuck is this person who we've never seen before? Like, who the fuck is this person? Where the fuck did they come from? There's nobody else alive. There's not even a red herring alive. And then, is it still them? Oh shit, they're dead. There's a reveal that she's the killer. A young boy drowned a year before those two others were killed. Counselors not paying any attention. They were making love while that boy drowned. His name was Jason. Working the day it happened, preparing meals here. I was the cook. Not great swimmer, no shit. Again, never mentions what Jason looks like. I don't think she's ever shown pictures, but yet she dreams what Jason looks like. And they're very similar to what It's in Betsy Palmer's flashbacks. What, did Adrian Teen see her flashbacks or see the movie? She watched the movie and then, oh, that's what Jason looks like. Put in my memory bank, my database. And yeah, Friday 30, of course, tons of pop culture references throughout the years. The big question in Stream, who's the killer in Friday the 13th? And Drew Barrymore goes, Jason, Jason. That's the wrong answer. I think Kevin Williamson said that's something he would do in bars. Like, there was ever a movie trivia quiz thing, he would ask that question, and it would stump a lot of people, and he'd win some money from that. I mean, you see how Adrian Teen is like taking her out so easily. That's why it's hard for me to believe like she did all this, especially with these grown ass guys. Like, look how tough it is. Like this poor lady getting up. I know she wasn't that old, but she still looks like grandma. It's grandma. I don't know. Good actress, but it's like, I don't know. How the fuck did she get him up there? Tristy. Where he didn't hate. Like, how the fuck did she get him up there? Just tied a rope and pulled or something? I don't know. But then he had to be flopped up so that she would have to maneuver him so that boom, he falls back. Whatever. I know Mary Manfredini says that whole thing is killer mommy, but many people have heard the music over and over again. Nothing about it seems like is. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Mrs. Voorhees pissed. She's pissed. Stop wasting time. Get that fucking gun ready. No more bullets. Come on, hit it harder. You're missing 80% of the time. God damn it. It's not loaded. Is it? Was it? Did she load it? Actually, not. It wasn't loaded. All those guns are. None of them are loaded. All those guns. The whole rack of guns. There's not one that's loaded. Should have blocked the door or something, man. And now just bitch slap. Listen, you see this fight, you just see like just a grandma fight with her Cosby shirt on. It just seemed like good actress, but like that's the killer? She stumbles more than Ghostface. Yeah, it just Mrs. Voorhees is not my primo killer. I know performance-wise, but she only gets to act for like a couple minutes, and then it's just pretty much running around, very able to keep her breath going. Get some tab mouse, tab mouse, tab mouse. But yeah, this is better than the shit that goes on today. Don't get it twisted. I'd rather watch this film than the movies going on today. I'll say that. At least a lot of them. Because a lot of them are terrible. Still better than a lot of movies today. Especially horror movies. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't get a good enough. Did not get a good enough of sleep last night, so a little bit groggy, sleepy. It's not because of the film. Just need to get myself to bed, but I'm going to at least finish this. Come on, lady. Did not much else to say. Just a lot of cat, mouse, cat, mouse, cat, mouse. Hiding, hiding, hiding. Like I said, I know a lot of people look forward to another Friday the 13th film whenever everything gets completely settled. Maybe at this point I'm just so burned out on all these other remakes and reboots and requels that they've done. The new Halloween trilogy by David Gordon Green, that Number on Elm Street remake from 2010, the Hitch remake, the Amityville Horror remake. It's hard for me to get excited for another franchise, sequel, whatever, let alone Friday the 13th. So, if it surprises me, cool. I'll be grateful. Oh shit. What are you waiting for? You stand over her, do something. You grab the machete and stab her in the fucking face already. The machete's right there. Grab it. The fucking machete's on the goddamn ground 2 feet away from you. You should grab it and go. Tsh. Well, she's not down. Machete's right there. Grab it. What are you doing? What, you thought she was dead? What made you think she was dead? She's not even trying to escape on a boat. She just sits in a fucking boat. Parked. What made you... I didn't think she was dead. What made you think she was fucking dead? Didn't grab the fucking machete. Well, we're really supposed to believe this was the ending? Oh, here's a fake out. Right, you used an oar. You know what would have been better? The fucking machete you should have taken from her. Imagine what Amy Steele would have done against Mrs. Voorhees. I think it would have been a much shorter fight with Amy Steele winning. Now, I know the thing here is that when the decapitation happens, when the hands rise up, you see hair on the knuckles, and that was because it was Talsavini's buddy being the hands that kind of rise up like this. You see like hair on the knuckles. That's, I forget the guy's name, but that's his buddy's hands. Yeah, nice decapitation. There you go. And that's the way it is. That's the way it's gotta be. That's the way it is. And sorry about that, just being groggy. It's not the movie. I don't think the movie's that boring. It just, what idea for not getting a good night's sleep the other night. That's my fault. But yeah, in all seriousness, this went by quick. But like I said, the Friday the 13th films, even this one, they're still somewhat comfort food. I think throughout the years, just hearing about them, the backstory, the whole story of the weird to say historical relevance to this in terms of horror films, and just a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to mention, time period, all the other stuff. So in reality, we're supposed to think that she's at the boat by the land. Now, obviously, the whole reason this ending happened was because they wanted to replicate the feel of Carrie, where the girl went to the grave and then the hand comes up and people are like, oh shit. They wanted to replicate that. So in this case, Jason comes up. I forgot who the fuck the kid's name was. Comes up, grabs her. I'll see the name at the credits. And they're always like, what the fuck's going on? And there you go. There's the nightmare scene. So again, I guess you just imagine what Jason looked like, and she imagined what Jason looked like, but then they made it seem as if that's really what Jason looks like for the next movie and so forth. Like some point she was shown a picture, which I don't know when the fuck she would have been shown a picture. She got rescued. She was knocked down, then she woke up here. We didn't find no more. Pull you out of the lake. Okay, they pull you out of the lake. They say they pulled her out of the lake. So are we supposed to think maybe the night maybe she was in the water, Jason pulled her in, but then she somehow got away but was knocked out. Then they got her out, and then he's still out there. That's the thing. The director even said you're not supposed to think that deeply into it. It was just to have something for the ending that's like Carrie. That's the thing. They didn't look any deeper into that. So that's where you're thinking, well, what the fuck? Like, what really happened? And okay, is that why she recognized what the boy looks like? Because Jason really did pull her in, but then was stupid enough to leave her alive, or incompetent enough, and then But then it's funny that Jason's a little boy, but then he became what with a span of 1 year that much tall. So that's the thing. If Adrian Keene says a boy put her into the lake, but then like a year or two later she dies by an adult Jason, what do you have? Like a massive spurt from kid to adult? Wouldn't it be still the adult Jason pulling her in? Since it's only a year or two, second one takes place after this? Whatever. Ari Lehman as Jason. There you go. Ari Lehman. Who wants to, oh, I'm the first Jason. All you did was jump up and pull Adrian Keene in. That's all you fucking did. Stephen Miner. Is that the Steve Miner we would see later? Tasso. Stavrakis. That's the guy whose hands we see when they rise up and after the Betsy Pullman gets decapitated. It's Tasso's hairy knuckles. And then they try to do that for part 3, which makes even less sense because that character knows nothing about Mrs. Voorhees, but for some reason she dreams about a zombie corpse, Mrs. Voorhees, pulling her in. I'm like, she was never in the lake. This girl knows nothing about Mrs. Voorhees, knows nothing about what clothes she was wearing, anything. Just for so, yeah, they don't really think these things through with this whole franchise. I still, I have fun with the franchise. It's a fun franchise. It just, if you think about it too deeply, it's like, what the fuck? So you just go along with it to have fun. But like I said, I do think a lot of the sequels are better than this. I mean, I would say I could watch 2 more. I could probably watch 3 more because of Richard Brooker as Jason. Was that the actor's name? I think it was Brooker, but he sadly passed away. I could watch 2 more, 3 more, 4 more. Definitely 6, 7, and 9 more. Jason X I'd probably watch over this. Friday 30, 2009 I'd watch over this. It is a cool poster, though. Very cool poster. I mean, the poster's more moody than the movie. But I said, I do like the film. But in a way, I do think it's a bit overrated. But not a bad film. But that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.